Yo, what is good, dev guys? Welcome to part 3 of this video tutorial series. In the last video, we just created our base pickup class, and we didn't create a blueprint based off of it. I just wanted to show you guys that you can drag C++ classes into the viewport here or into the level, but it's best to work with C++ and blueprint combined. So we're going to delete this. Then we're going to go to the code class and we're going to create a few things that we need to be able to talk to the game mode. So one thing that I'm sure you guys know about is public, protected, and private and what they entail. But instead of saying like in C# where you say this is a public virtual void, we create a whole section that's protected, and everything that falls under that section will be protected. Same with public. Everything that falls under that section will be public. So for something like our this Boolean that we're about to create that just keeps track of the state of the pickup, we want it to be protected because we don't want anybody else to be able to change the state outside of this class or a child class of it. So we put it in the protected section. So let's create a Boolean by saying bool, and then in Unreal Engine, there's a standard before you write the name of your bool, you put a lowercase b in front of it. And this is going to be said bool is whether or not this pickup is active. So B is active is what we'll call this. And this needs to be a U property, just so it doesn't get garbage collected. And I actually, we can probably not we can get rid of that actually. And now, so that this could be accessed by other classes, inside the public section, we'll create our first function, and it's going to return a bool, and it's going to say is pickup active. And we want to be able to call this from Blueprint. So the way to do that is by adding another macro, and this is the ufunction macro. Okay, so now let's talk about ufunctions. What is a ufunction? It's a Unreal Engine macro that helps connect C++ functions to Blueprint. Now, a ufunction can take in parameters to change how the function acts in the Blueprint event graph, and it allows and is required for the functions to be bound to existing delegate events inside of Unreal. Now, the U function takes in macro parameters, and the most common one that you'll see are Blueprint Pure, where it creates a pure node that doesn't require a input or a input execution to run. And they usually just return a value. You usually use these for like getters for something simple. Blueprint callable, it creates a blueprint node that requires an input to run. So this is a blueprint callable node right here. And blueprint implementable event, it creates an event node that requires an input to run, and the code is implemented in Blueprint, which is what this is right here. You can see that U function blueprint implementable event. It's in the category aim, returns nothing, and is called exit ADS. I got this one is showing the enter ADS, but it has the same setup. But yeah, so in Blueprint callable usually has the code implemented in C++. Same thing with the Blueprint pure. The code is usually implemented in C++, and then you call that from Blueprint. And the U function category, it just allows for more organization when you're working with the Blueprint node versions of the functions. And it is required to compile a function that is used in Blueprint. So if I didn't have this category here on this Blueprint implementable event, when I compile, I get an error saying that I need to add a category to to a blueprint reflection function. So this is that aim category. It has my enter ADS and exit ADS implementable events inside of it. And that's the basics for ufunctions. It takes in a few things, or you could pass in a few things here. You can say blueprint callable, blueprint cosmetic. And if you have rider and you hover over these things, it'll let you know what each specifier does. So take time to read these because they explain exactly what they do. But for this bool, we just want to return this bool, and it's not going to be it's not going to edit anything. So we can actually make it blueprint pure, and we can make it const, since it doesn't change anything about the it doesn't change properties. It just returns whether or not this is active. So make this blueprint pure, and we need to give it a category of pickup. Everything that has a U function specifier on it and that is accessible in blueprint needs to have a category or it won't compile. So we got our getter, and this is our, it gets the value of whether or not this pickup is active. So remember to comment your code. It just helps out if you're working in a team, or if you coded this 3 weeks ago and you come back to it, you want to know exactly what things do. This is also why I make my names of my functions very specific. Like, is pickup active? Or how could you not know what that does? Returns a bool, and the question is pickup active? So try to make your code easy for yourself. You don't have to code like a computer. The thing about code is that it gets compiled down for the computer to read it, but we don't have to read it like a computer. Okay, so we need one more function. This is going to be another U function. It's going to be blueprint callable, which means that we can call it from the blueprint class, but it needs an execution pin to run. And you'll see we're basically creating our own blueprint nodes right now. And you'll see how they look when we create our blueprint class inside of the editor. So give this another category of pickup. Then we're going to call this, and it's void. And what this function is going to do is it's going to set the is active. Set pickup is active. And we want to pass in a Boolean that is the new active state. And now that we have these, in Rider, if you hit Alt Insert, you can create definitions for the two of these. I can't remember how you do it inside of Visual Studio, but good luck, baby. Get Rider. Nah, I'm playing. The first thing we want to do is set a default value inside of the constructor. So whenever one of these are spawned or picked up or placed in the level, we want it to automatically start active so that we can be able to pick it up. So we'll just set that B is active equal to true. And then all this function does is it returns B is active. And then in this function, we set B is active equal to the new active state. So if we go ahead and rerun the editor, skip the restore because I deleted something and didn't save it. I hate when that happens. There's a fucking weird ass bug where sometimes your mouse movement won't work. I hope it's been reported. But we're gonna come into the to our dev folder, and then we're gonna create a new folder and call it blueprints. And then inside of here, let's just create another folder called actors. And then in here, let's right click, create a blueprint class, and let's base this blueprint class off of our pickup base. So if I can, I am choosing the class. Okay. Unreal Engine 5 is being an idiot. I'm picking a class right there. So let's just can we what? All right, so let's just do let's do it the other way since this shit wants to be weird. What the hell? I'm gonna restart the editor because now my classes aren't even showing up. So let me just stop the editor and let's run it again. Remember, right now UE5 is in early access, so take this with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? So here, see. All right, we're good now. So let's go to our blueprints folder, our actors folder, and let's right click, create a blueprint class, and base it off of our pickup base class. There we go. Call this BP battery pickup. And we want to go inside of here and do some editing of the things that we've already set up. So you see we set up our static mesh component here, and it's set to visible anywhere so we can see this and make changes. So let's go ahead and set that default to battery medium. Now everyone that we spawn in will have this battery as the default mesh. Go ahead and compile that. Another thing that you could do, save on compile on success only, so that it'll save this blueprint whenever you compile successfully. So if we go to the event graph, and this is where you would do your blueprint programming, you can see those nodes we created. So if we go to, and here we have a pickup section that we created, and it has our is pickup active function. This is what a blueprint pure node looks like. It doesn't need an execution pin to run. It just returns whatever we need to return. And the set pickup is active. It takes an input, takes it. So from here, it would take this input and we pass in the new active state here, or we can set up a variable as well. We don't need to do that. That's overkill. We can just pass in the toggle here. But yeah, we just created our first two blueprint nodes, and we'll be using these in conjunction with the game mode so that the character can know whether or not he can pick up the pickup. So in the next video, we'll get into some more coding, and I'll see you in that one. Peace.